Good morning. Welcome to Sunday morning. Welcome to the new faces who I can see, and welcome to the folks on Facebook who I cannot see, and the folks on YouTube. Happy to be able to spend this time with y'all. Today we're going to do the last of the 10 Paramis, which we have been waltzing through for the last month and a half. And we're going to talk about equanimity today, which is the art. I've been contemplating this. How do I define these things? Because I can quote, all the different definitions from like Tricycle and other places, but I think equanimity is the art of knowing that you're okay when you don't feel okay. Knowing that you are maybe in the middle of a storm, but you are not the storm. You're not being swept away by it. And I think mindfulness is a really important piece of that. Because mindfulness helps us identify our experience, identify what we're telling ourselves about our experience, and still know that those two things, what's happening and how we're describing it to ourselves, are separate. So we can choose how we receive our experience. And receiving it with some sense of, I'm okay, this is just hard, rather than, this is hard and I'm not okay, I think is a major paradigm shift from what most of us grew up with. So we will get to that on the other side of the meditation. But for now, let's meditate. So I invite you to find a comfortable meditation posture where you can be alert but not rigid, relaxed but not slumped, a posture that facilitates you paying attention, being able to pay attention, being able to be aware and aware of your awareness. And if it works for you, just without pulling on the muscles in your neck and shoulders, just tucking your chin a little bit, and it's like you have a little string right at the crown of your head, just like pulls that up so it straightens those top vertebrae. And just lower your gaze. Start by lowering your gaze so your eyes are sort of like looking down the bridge of your nose. And this relaxes the muscles around your eye sockets. And gently close your eyes. Let's begin with a few slow, deep breaths. About 3/4 full. Just to help us connect to the body breathing. And as you exhale, just begin to relax and soften your body. Deep breath in, receiving the deep breath in. And a long, slow, relaxed exhale, and relaxing the muscles around your eyes, letting your eyes just sort of rest back in the sockets, and relaxing the muscles of your face. And letting your breathing return to normal. And continuing as you exhale to continue to relax and soften. To whatever degree you can without getting too hung up on worried about whether you're doing it right, because you are doing it right just by sitting here. As you exhale, just relax your shoulders. And on the out breath, continue to relax your chest and your belly. Just letting your belly go soft and hang. And letting your body just settle in. Letting your torso rest in your hip socket. And letting your body just settle into gravity, holding you in your seat. Let your attention, your awareness, come to the sensations of the body breathing. Some people do that by focusing on the sensations of air moving in and out of your nose. Some people focus on the sensations of their chest or belly moving up and down, the soft belly expanding and contracting. Just resting your awareness on your awareness of the sensations of the body breathing. There's nothing to do or not do. You're not trying to breathe faster or slower. You're just aware and resting your awareness on your experience of the body breathing itself. if your mind wanders off in thought, when your mind wanders off in thought, because it will. It's what the mind does. When you notice that, just gently, without tension or recrimination, or wondering whether you're doing right or wrong, just bring your attention back to the sensations of the body breathing. Thoughts will come and go. And we just notice that without getting involved, going down the road with whatever the content of the thought stream happens to be. Just notice it like a phenomenon, like a cloud floating by. In your mind's eye, you can bow to it as it passes. Or just note thinking. And then bring your awareness back to your awareness of the body breathing. Thoughts may come and go. That's okay. It's all good. We're not here to make that stop. We're just noticing it. It's not good. It's not bad. Just what the mind does, it wanders around. And when you notice, you can smile and bow to that part of your mind. And bring your attention and your awareness back to your awareness of the sensations of the body breathing. As often as you may need to, which may be quite often. as we come towards the end of this sitting, just being aware of the body, breathing in and out in the present moment, and knowing that whatever your experience of that happens to be, that you're okay, that it's okay. And may it be that the practice of this meditation helps to meet the world without trying to cling to it or hold it at bay. And may it be that the benefits of this practice help us meet the world around us with kindness and compassion, to be able to look out upon the world with kind eyes, even in the face of difficulty and in the face of suffering. To not have to turn our gaze and continue to meet our experience with kindness and compassion and love. May the benefits of this practice flow through you to benefit everybody you encounter today, to help you meet them from a centered and kind place. And may the benefits of this practice flow from you out into your household, into your street, into your community, out into the world around you, through the way you move through the world, as best you can. May the benefits of this practice be of benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice. Quick announcement. I will be here Christmas weekend, and I will be online doing this group. New Year's weekend, though I'm not sure where I will be physically. I will definitely be here in cyberspace offering this practice. I put the usual announcements up in the chat. The links for the Zoom group, the link for the Facebook group. If you have any questions that you don't get around to asking, or any comments you want to make, you can certainly reach me through the Facebook group. Also, my contact information is in the chat. And these talks are freely given, but if you feel moved to donate, there's a link for that. So, for the past 2 months, we have been dancing through the 10 Paramis. Anybody familiar with Buddhism knows that Buddhism likes lists. And this is a list of what has been referred to as the 10 perfections of the heart that lead us to awakening. And just to quickly review the background, there was Dipankara and there was Samhita, and I can never remember which one is which. But we'll say Dipankara was the one who developed the Paramis. Samhita was a Buddha at the time of Dipankara, who encountered Dipankara through an act of generosity on Dipankara's part, and told him that in a future incarnation he would be a Buddha. So Dipankara set out to write down the qualities or develop or enumerate the qualities of awakening that would lead one there. And was subsequently written down by Shantideva and became known as the 10 Perfections or the 10 Paramis, and Shantideva recorded them as the guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. And so far we have covered, in order, generosity, morality or ethics, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, resolve, loving kindness, and equanimity. And now we have arrived at equanimity. And it's interesting, at least to me, excuse me one second. Don't want to cough in your ear. It's interesting, at least to me, the last two of the Paramis are also the last two of the Brahma Viharas, which we covered some months ago, which are also known as the 4 qualities of boundless compassion. The 4 qualities of boundless compassion are loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, which is what we're talking about today. And these qualities are important to cultivate because it is simply true that the heart is not always open. But we can let it open by creating a gentle space. And equanimity can be an anchor for that. Equanimity reminds us that we are okay even when things don't feel okay. Equanimity is said to be an anchor that protects us from what Buddhism calls the worldly winds of pleasure and pain, praise and blame, gain and loss. By keeping us anchored so we don't get blown around by our experience, we can know that we are okay in the present moment and can meet our experience without the exhausting ping-pong effect of going back and forth between attachment and aversion and attachment and aversion and attachment and aversion. We recognize that there's something we like. We're having a pleasant experience. We cling to that. I want that. And we attach ourselves to it. And then when it starts to fade, because everything comes and goes, we feel bad. We encounter suffering. Or we are having an unpleasant experience, and we meet that with this. Go away. And it doesn't go away as a result of us doing that, and whatever we resist gets stronger. So we spend much of our lives just kind of going back and forth on this wild pendulum between attachment and aversion. And what I'm suggesting, what the Dharma suggests, is a completely different paradigm. That we can sit in the middle of that, in the art of recognizing that you're having an unpleasant experience or that you're upset, and still being able to decide that you're okay at the same time. It's an attitude of not getting sucked in or overwhelmed, not turning away in indifference just because it's hard. Now, I'm not minimizing hard. And I'm not saying, snap your fingers, here you are doing this now. These things are practices. There's a reason why they call meditation a practice, the reason why they call the Dharma a practice, the reason why they call Buddhism a practice. We practice it. We remind ourselves all the time. Sylvia Boorstein refers to equanimity as the ability of the mind to accommodate passion without losing balance. I like that. It's the mind that sees clearly, that meets experience with cordial intent. I like that too. To be moved, sometimes intensely, and still remain balanced and know we're okay. I wasn't sure what I was going to say about this. I'm in the middle. We're having a difficult experience these days. I have a close family member who is now on day 22 in the hospital with COVID. And it could go either way. And witnessing that, equanimity helps me just stay grounded. Reminding myself that I'm okay. Being the steady person in the room when everybody else is not okay. Being able to keep my wits about me. Recognizing that I'm having this very visceral experience, but being able to meet that when I remind myself in a mindful space and know that this is normal, this is what it's supposed to be, and I don't have to like push it away or push people away. And it's hard. I'm not going to tell you that this is an easy process. And my good friend Jeannie DePro, who I quote here all the time, wrote in her great book, The Earth House, about this sort of process. She says, and so I remind myself as often as I must, which is very often. We don't just get it. We remind ourselves, we work with it. We practice mindfulness as a practice, like practicing the violin. Because I can't tell you that I'm in that space all the time. I would be lying. And I can't guarantee you guys much, but I can guarantee that I will be honest with you. So, the practice of standing in the middle of a storm and reminding yourself to breathe in and out and know that you're okay is central to being able to move around effectively in the world in the face of suffering. Now, there are a couple of the near enemy. There's a couple of those. The near enemy of equanimity is indifference. We just sort of meet and go, no. That's not equanimity. And equanimity also does not include accepting what's unacceptable. Oppression, racism, deliberate cruelty, all of that. But equanimity helps us see those situations clearly and respond without reacting. And responding is when I consider what I'm going to do next, and reacting is when I just go off like a firecracker. And Buddhist teacher Gina Sharp reminds us that upekkha, which is the Pali word for equanimity, actually means balance, and can also be interpreted as to stand in the middle of this. It's not news to anybody. We live in a tumultuous world. It's not news to anybody that there is drama in our lives and there is suffering that we witness, and it's possible to be in the eye of that storm without being the storm. It's an art we practice. Like I keep, coming back to that quote from Pablo Casals, when, the great musician, and someone asked him, do you really practice 8 hours every day? And he said, yes. And well, why do you practice 8 hours every day? You're the master. He said, well, I might be learning it. These are things we practice. And part of equanimity is practicing with a sense of self-compassion and kindness, and not meeting ourselves with recriminations or unkindness when we notice that we're not in this space. Because I don't know anybody who does this all the time. So this is another extension of self-compassion, which is something I talk about all the time, because I think it really is the missing ingredient in the culture at large. The art of holding in the mind that I'm okay, even though this is not okay, but I'm okay. If you look at it from the 12-step point of view, the entire Al-Anon fellowship is based around the idea of I'm okay even if you're not. You can be having your storm, and I can choose how to participate in that in a way that brings some sort of relief and not get swept up on it, because I can still be okay. It's an act of gentleness. It's a gift we give to ourselves. James Baldwin, without using this kind of language, spoke of this in Notes of a Native Son. He said, it began to seem that one would have to hold in the mind forever two ideas, which seemed to be in opposition. The first idea was acceptance, the acceptance totally without rancor of life as it is, and men as they are. In light of this idea, it goes without saying that injustice is a commonplace. But this did not mean that one could be complacent, for the second idea was equal power, that one must never in one's own life accept these injustices as commonplace, but must fight them with all one's strength. The fight begins, however, in the heart, and it now had to be laid to my charge to keep my own heart free of hatred and despair. He talked of meeting the injustice of the world, of which he wrote eloquently, but not getting swept up into fear or hatred or anger. Although you can experience all those things, equanimity as a practice helps us to stay centered so we can still act effectively, act in our interest, act in the interest of others, act to relieve suffering. So, we have journeyed the 10 Paramis in 10 weeks. Actually 11 weeks. I was off 1 week. Mariel was here. And I'm grateful to you all for having made this journey, and excited to see what comes next. And I invite you to meet yourselves with equanimity and compassion with the person in the mirror. To know that you are okay, even in the midst of whatever difficulty is going on. To meet yourself with compassion and acceptance and love. That's the essence of equanimity, of knowing that we can meet ourselves there, even though there's all of this stuff happening around us. So, thank you for your kind attention. Any questions, thoughts, comments? Okay. I want to welcome Stanley. I don't think I've seen you here before. Welcome to here. And Marcy. Nice to see you too. Nice to see everybody else as well. I'm wondering, would it be helpful for me, instead of doing a talk every now and then, to just say, okay, question, answer, discussion? Would anybody be up for that? Would that be helpful to anybody?
I like your talks.
Okay. I'm just asking. All right. Well, thank you all. I'll see you next time.